Are you feeling exhausted? Are you feeling depleted? Is your body aching? Are you having restless nights? These are all signs that your body is screaming at you to take a break. But we don't listen. We still push through. And we have to start listening to these signals, because your body will signal you in many ways in order for you to take a break, in order for you to stop. And if you don't listen, you'll actually be forced to stop. So listen to it when your body needs a rest and start giving yourself that time. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. We're creatures of being busy all the time. We have to be productive or we're not being productive. We have to keep doing or we're not going to, succeed. But resting is so important. Being is such an important thing. Being in the moment and listening to your body. But we don't ever listen. We run through it. Like, we get aches and pains, we take some painkillers. We're tired and we just push through. We just don't listen. And you see, our body is a signaling system. If we're going through tiredness or aches, it is a clear sign we need to stop. We need to take that time. But when we don't listen, it gets louder and louder. So there's so many different ways our body is going to scream out to us. First of all, there's exhaustion. You're tired all the time, even if you think you're getting a good night's sleep. There's restless nights. Are you waking up constantly? Are you getting aches and pains? Tension headaches? There's digestion issues that can come in as well. But then there's that irritability and that anger that comes in. There's other symptoms as well, like mood swings. There's anxiety and depression, substance abuse. So we can turn to the drink if we're feeling stressed and, ignore our body. There's so many other ways that our body is screaming at us to listen. And, I've been going through this lately and I haven't been listening. Exhaustion is a big one for me. I've been doing courses back to back on top of everything else that I'm doing. I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning, and every evening I am wrecked. I am absolutely wrecked. I need to take a nap. I'm sitting on the couch and my eyes are closing, and I only need to close my eyes for 10 minutes. But it's a clear sign I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. And even my body then starts screaming at me. I start to get these tension headaches from time to time. And, even I instead of listening to my body, I started to do more. So I added more exercises to my morning routine. And I literally, the first morning I did it, I pulled muscles in both my sides. And I was just like, I have to take a day off now because I am in pain. And this is it. Are you in pain? Are you exhausted? Are you not listening? This is a massive sign. You have to slow down. But we're afraid to slow down. We think that if we slow down, we're lazy. If we slow down, we're not doing anything or nothing will get done. And you know what? I've said this before. The more we rush, the slower we are. And I'll tell you this, the other morning I was rushing. I was actually doing my course and I was literally rushing. I had this goal I wanted to do, but it was this new thing and I was afraid that if I didn't do it right now, that I wouldn't do it or I'd get lazy or I'd procrastinate. So I started rushing around the place. And there was so much things that came up that before I could sit down, I was like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And I just running around the place. And what did I do? Kept hitting off things, kept dropping things. You know what I mean? My motor skills were gone. That's another way where we can get a sign that we need to slow down, is that everything kept going wrong. And I was like, oh my God, you're literally making yourself, you're adding more time. You're wasting more time by rushing. And I literally had to just kind of stand back and say, stop, slow down for 2 minutes and you will get the thing done quicker. And that's the thing, I was a very fast-paced person. I was always rushing around the place. I worked in factory jobs and I was literally all the time. And I was, even down the street, I used to smoke and I was so unfit. I would literally power walk everywhere, and I would get to the destination, I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to fucking breathe, do you know what I mean? And I just thought that's the energy I was in, and I was like, and it wasn't safe, I used to drive carelessly as well because I was in such a rush. Now I leave earlier, but there was one day, especially, I was coming down off, this is another warning sign. I came down off my deck. My deck is a pretty high step, and I came down on my ankle and I heard it pop and I was like, oh shit, shit, this is a warning sign right now. I effectively sprained my ankle, but like, I was able to manage it. But at the same time, I was screaming at myself, you live on your own. You cannot injure yourself. You need your car. You need to be able to walk. You need to be able to do this. And ever since then, I've slowed down. But there's another thing. That's a really clear sign. Are you getting injured all the time? Or are you getting illnesses all the time? Is your immune system gone to shit? Like when I was living out of alignment with my soul, my immune system was gone. I kept getting these ailments, these illnesses, this disease. And, I kept, effectively, hurting myself all the time. So like, are you injuring yourself? There's another warning sign from the universe that you're not listening to your body, that you're not listening to your soul. If you're living out of alignment with what you're truly doing, the universe will, I've said this before, the universe will give you nudges, will give you signs and synchronicities. These loud kind of nudges to say, here, you're not on the right path, redirect. And this can come in perceived obstacles or certain things in your life. But every time we see these certain things in our lives, we're not listening. We're not seeing them as signs. So we don't listen. And then it reflects back. If we don't listen to the soft nudges with these tiny obstacles to redirect, it's going to become internal. If we're not listening to the signs outside, it's going to become internal. Like, for example, for me, like lately, not lately, but like, I just said, like, lately I am exhausted. Yesterday, this is the thing, right? Yeah. If your car makes a noise, what do? You check it out. You bring it to the garage. You get it fixed. If your body is making a noise, in a sense, a metaphorical noise, or is in pain, it's time to put yourself in the garage to be fixed. Like yesterday, I left the house and I could hear this noise in my car and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh shit. I was like, no, it's in my mind. It's in my mind. And then I could hear this rattle. And I was like, oh shit. And I kind of knew straight away it was my exhaust. And I looked under the car and the exhaust was loose. So I went to the garage and I got it checked and I booked it in for next week. You see, that's what I did. The car needs to stop now for a minute so that it can be fixed. And, I take everything literally. Like, for example, my brakes went on my car a few years ago when I was living out of alignment with my soul. And I was like, what do brakes mean? Slow down, stop. To me, what does exhaust mean? Exhaustion. Honestly, it's not, it's just a metaphor. But like literally I was like, oh, exhaustion. I've been saying this for ages. I'm exhausted. I need to take a break. And you know what was funny as well? Actually, I was watching a show last night, one of my programs, and like literally the guy on it, he collapsed and he went to the doctors and he was diagnosed with exhaustion. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to listen to this. Like, I'm literally getting signs everywhere that I'm fucking exhausted. I need to rest. You know what I mean? I'm getting up at 4:30 every morning, doing back-to-back courses, doing all my coaching work as well. And it's just like everything is bombarding me. And like, I'm trying to take the rest of the weekends. I do look after myself. But even though I'm getting enough rest, in the evenings, I'm energetically depleted. I just can't do anything. I really can't. And this is another thing. And I just Googled this morning. Signs that your body, like I obviously know signs that your body is screaming at you to take a rest. But I went through the list and I was just like, isolation, not being able to be around people. Do you know what I mean? Brain fog, that was another one that I'm going through lately. What was the other one? It's this detachment kind of energy, which I've been in as well. It's like anything that we once found joy in is starting to feel just mundane. And like, I was like that the last few weeks as well. I wasn't able to laugh. I was watching things that used to make me laugh and I'm like, I just didn't have the energy to even laugh. And I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. I'm looking back over the last few weeks and I kind of knew I was tired. So I was taking some rest in the evenings. But like, I was still not giving myself enough rest. I was getting tension headaches as well. And, and even as I said, pulling the muscles in my sides, I was like, obviously you need to slow down, girl. And I just still wasn't listening. And like then when I take everything in my life as a metaphor or, something as a message. So, when anything happens externally as a perceived obstacle, as we'll say, like my car yesterday, I started rattling and I was like, oh my God, my exhaust. And, you know, I just took that as a literal thing of saying, you're exhausted. Your car needs a break, so you need a break. And this is it. Like anything we go through externally can be a reflection of the internal as well. So, like, you know, this is the thing. If we're not listening to the external metaphors or reflections, it's going to happen internally. And it was already happening for me internally with these little pains or these little headaches or this extra exhaustion. And I wasn't taking that extra rest. I was still, you know, really going hard at it. And, you know, I was just, I as I said, I take every little message as a clear, loud, a warning sign. You know what I mean? It's like, what do I need to do, you know, to change things? So this is one big one as well, is injuries. Are you constantly getting injured? You know, and like, I believe any injury is literally a loud and clear warning sign to stop. Stop. If your body is aching, stop. You know, we wonder why we're run down. We wonder why we're getting aches and pains. Did you ever take a minute just to take a break? Did you ever take a minute just to rest? Your body is screaming at you. Your body isn't going to be aching if you're doing everything right, if you're living in alignment with your soul. But if you're overworking yourself, like, you know, when I was working in the factory as well, I was a supervisor, but I still did 12-hour shifts, like, and I still did heavy manual work. I was pulling muscles left, right, and center. You know, there was times like I got this repetitive strain injury up here. I'd pull the same muscle in my ribs as well. Always, you know what I mean? And you think I'd learn. I eventually did learn, but like, you know, and another thing, especially when you're working in factories, there's hazards everywhere. Like, you know, you'd be looking up here, but you need to be looking down here. And I tripped over a tray one time. I had a bruise about that. Well, my leg isn't that big. About that size on my leg. You know, another thing. Oh my God, just remembering. Like, this is when I was out of alignment as well and running around like there was no tomorrow. I came in with the 2 heavy bags of shopping in, and I felt, oh my God, I fell coming in the door. And there's a step on my deck, like just on my porch side. I fell. My thigh hit the actual corner of it. And another big massive bruise on my leg. This was a good few years ago now. But these are all warning signs. And obviously back then I didn't have a clue. Like, you know, I was just like, oh my God. I remember all the things that my body used to do. When I was working in the factory as well, right? This is a meat factory. And we were in the packing area. And sometimes the backpack bags would be covered in blood. So you'd be rushing around going like this. And, you know, I would be so high on adrenaline that I wouldn't feel anything. And, you know, you'd see the blood and you'd be like, oh, you wipe it on your apron, you know, your uniform, your overalls, like, and then you just keep going. And then you see the blood again and like, that's not off the bags. Every day I was going into the office with my hand up like this going, and then like the lads would be like, Jesus, what did you do this time? You know, going in to get a plaster, like every single day. It was times I was just blue plasters everywhere. You know what I mean? These were all clear warning signs to slow down, and I wasn't slowing down. I wasn't listening. And if your immune system is low, if you're getting colds and flus all the time, if you're getting digestion issues all the time, as I said, if you're getting injuries all the time, these are clear warning signs. Stop doing stuff. Stop for a minute. Or if there's a metaphor like the brakes going on your car, stop. Your exhaust going. You're exhausted. All these things. And like, it's just so funny. As I said, with that program last night, your man is diagnosed with exhaustion, and I'm sitting there going, I better slow down or I'm going to collapse, like, and that's a fact, like, you know what I mean? And there's so many other things that we can, and like that isolation thing as well. You know, when I'm depleted in energy as an empath, we take on other people's energy, and I'm doing so much online every morning. Like, I literally, because I'm doing courses back to back and I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, I'm getting such amount of stuff done because I'm up so early. By lunchtime, I have a full day's work done. And I'm wrecked. I'm absolutely exhausted. But like, you know, I'm energetically drained as well. So the evening time comes and I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm like, I just can't talk to anybody. If I get a message or anything, I'm like, oh my God, I just can't. I just have no energy to even to correspond with people when it comes to my recharge moments. Like, and you know, this is another warning sign. If you're going into isolation, if you're feeling joyless, if you're feeling detached, if you're going into this brain fog. The brain fog was a big one for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like literally you're going around like a fucking zombie. It's like, you know, And just disrupted sleep patterns as well. Like, I get night sweats as well, and I'm waking up every few hours. Like last night especially, I woke up an awful lot. You know what I mean? So there's other things as well. Vivid dreams can be another one that you're not living in it, or not, you're exhausted or you're stressed. There's many other little signs and synchronicities, or signs that from our body that we can actually you can use as a guidance system. Your body is a guidance system. It is telling you loud and clear when you need to stop or rest. And this is the thing. You're injuring yourself all the time. You're getting these little accidents all the time. It's a massive warning to slow down. And as I said before, when it comes to, like, first of all, as I said, you will see a reflection in your external world to slow down. You'll get these detours, or you'll be stuck behind traffic, or you'll be guided into patience. This is all reasons to slow down. But when we don't listen, the nudges get louder. I've said this before, the nudges get louder. The nudges are mild, they're perceived obstacles, they're stepping stones. They're redirections. But if you don't listen, the nudges get louder. They get louder. They get louder, they get louder, they get louder, until the universe will throw a grenade into your life and everything goes to fucking shit. Now, that's not as punishment. That is literally saying, slow the fuck down or redirect. And if we don't listen to the external, it will become internal. Your mind, your body, and your soul will literally scream at you through these signs and these ailments, these illnesses, to slow the fuck down. If you're going into a job that is not in alignment and you keep injuring yourself in that job, or you keep getting sick, it's because you're not in alignment with your soul. If you keep injuring yourself from drinking too much, that's another sign you should not be doing these things. You know what I mean? And I remember that years ago when I used to drink excessively, I still have a scar here, you know what I mean? I had a massive cut on my lip from falling over. The first time I actually drank, I had cuts. I didn't break my nose, but my nose started bleeding. I felt like, and I had cuts all over my face. And every weekend I drank, I used to come back with bruises all over me or cuts on my face. And like, that's just dangerous. Like, it's really dangerous. And there was other things that happened when I was drinking as well, that, that really, there were really loud signs that I shouldn't have been drinking. But falling over was a massive one for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, hurting myself was a massive thing for me when I used to drink. So that was obviously a clear sign that I was out of alignment with my soul. When I was in relationships, the wrong ones, I kept getting warnings through my health that I wasn't on the right path. Obviously, back then I wasn't aware. But now I can see, looking back, that all of these things were warning signs to slow down or to literally redirect. Now I'm getting these tiny nudges to guide me in the right direction, and I'm listening to them. But if I wasn't listening, they would get worse. So if I wasn't going to slow down now, it would end up like me collapsing. And I'm not going to let it get that far. So don't you let it get that far. Listen to these signs now. What is your body trying to tell you? It's that simple. Slow down and rest. It is okay to take a break. It really is. You're not lazy. You're minding yourself. And that's another thing as well. We need to rest our minds just as much as we need to rest our bodies. So like, if you're like, for me, like, I'm doing courses back to back, and like, a lot of the information is going in, but sometimes I'm like, it doesn't register because my mind is so tired. You know what I mean? So your mind needs rest as well. Like, how can you shut down your mind? Because oftentimes, we might sit there and we might be resting our body, but we're not resting our mind. We're just on mind-numbing social media, and our mind is still going through anxiety. Find ways to rest your mind. Meditation is really good for this. Other little things, going out in nature is really good for this. And nature is a healer. So, I don't take any kind of medication anymore. So if I have any kind of pain or anything, I'll get through it. I don't take painkillers. But going out in nature will actually make me heal so much quicker than it does if I'm just sitting on the couch. So just literally sit out in nature. You don't have to go anywhere. Go sit in your garden for a little while. That's all you need to do, because that'll actually heal you as well. So just please listen to your body. Listen to those warning signs. You're not injuring yourself because it's an accident. You're injuring yourself because you're out of alignment with your soul. You're getting, your immune system is low because you're out of alignment with your soul. You're disconnected from self. So reconnect with yourself, listen to your body, and take that rest. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help in your path.